Well, a day two slight risk has been issued for areas of the southeast, and fully anticipated several weeks ago that this entire setup and the last couple of weeks and the following week were all going to happen, and it's going to happen again as we head into March. The last couple of weeks of March and even into April are going to be very exciting times for several chances for strong to severe weather, and I know this because I'm one of the few in the country certified in using the long-range forecasting technique referred to as the LRC, or the LZAC recurring cycle. And what the LRC is it states that a unique weather pattern sets up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and that weather pattern cycles over and over again through the following year until a new LRC cycle sets up that following year. These cycles are a unique number of days long. They do oscillate between a range, and right now we're averaging about 41, 42 days for a cycle, and we kind of oscillate between about 39 and 44 days. So this weather pattern that we have experienced and are currently experiencing with these last several rounds of wintry weather across the United States, and even the current winter storms that are ongoing right now across the central portion of the U.S., bringing that chance for some severe weather down into the southeast for the 12th of February, it's going to happen again in roughly about 42 days, or the 25th of February. And our last four storms will occur about 2 weeks before that date. And the next storm that follows after this one, which is currently expected to hit somewhere around the 15th and into the 16th of the month, so just a few days from now, which will likely produce a very similar outlook, probably a little beefier than this one, coming here in just a couple of days. It's all going to happen again in about 42 days and even just a couple weeks before then. So if you were to look into March, this exact setup right now, which has already produced outlooks in the prior cycles very similar, I'll give you a look at that here in just a second, but this outlook, which will be a bit more probably looking something similar to this, will be happening again around the 25th of March. And then those last four storms that came in just before it as well will come in probably between the 13th of March through the 1st of April. And then we will see additional outlooks that will be issued beyond that into the following couple of weeks. I would encourage you to head over to the YouTube page and give it a look, and you can see some of the other predictions that we've already made, and you can take a look at a similar setup that's going to be happening with the prior storm that's going to be hitting around the 18th and the 28th of March. And we're talking about the storm that will hit somewhere around the 25th. And even this storm system right here on the 28th might be a day or two later, maybe the 29th or 30th towards the later end. But we're also talking about a very active storm pattern as we head into April, and this is part of this pattern and the next portion of this LRC that is going to happen. But let's go back and take a look at this outlook. Here is the slight risk for areas of the southeast, and if we go back just a prior cycle ago to about 42 days, this is what the outlook was in a very similar location, which was the moderate risk and enhanced risk throughout the exact same area. This was taken on the 28th, 29th, which is about 43 days ago. And if you were to go even one cycle before then, and we go back into November, this is about 85 days ago, or if you were to split that in two because it's two cycles ago of this year's LRC, again, remember the weather patterns are cycling. It's about 42 and a half day cycle. So you can see we're kind of oscillating between that 40 and 43 day mark, averaging about 41, 42. In this exact instance, it cycled back at 42 and a half days prior, or 85 days total. But as we look 42 days from now, again, that weather pattern is going to be looking fairly similar to what we see on these dates right here. From the 16th into the 17th, 18th, here's where we saw that first outlook throughout Louisiana, going forward into December. which we just took a look at. Here's our storm system coming in, and we'll see it right there lifting up. That is our second portion of that storm. And looking into February, where we're at currently, here is the upper level pattern that's expected to play out. So our storm system right here with our secondary storm behind it, which is expected to hit just a couple of days later, about 3 days after that. If we go back and look at these prior maps, back to the end of December, which was one cycle ago, you can see our first storm right here, and then our second storm barreling in 3 days behind that, followed by another storm just shy of a week before that. Let's go back another cycle, 2 from where we're at today, 1 cycle back from where we're looking here at the end of December and into January. And here's the storm coming in on land down to the southeast, lifting across the U.S. We'll see another storm just a couple of days later. Here it is. And then we see 2 more storms forming right behind that. So just a parade of weather patterns, or storms within the weather pattern, continue to happen. These last several storms have already happened. They're going to happen again. Hard to see right here, but just hold my feet to the fire. We'll look back again here in a couple of weeks, about 6 weeks from now, and we'll see how these last several predictions for March and into April are looking, and we can even anticipate that this is going to happen again in a following 6 weeks, or roughly 12 weeks from today, at the beginning of May and into mid-May. So the end of April and into early May as well, we will see a parade of storms. So as we head through the middle of March to the beginning of April, and then from the end of April and into the beginning of May, will be two to 3 week windows of some fairly active weather. I believe that the central and southern plains will really awaken as we head through April and May of this year, and we should be looking at some very, very good potential for heightened probability of severe weather outbreaks for this 2025 spring season.